Hi, I'm Caitlin, a wildlife illustrator and creature designer, and I wanted to pop back on YouTube after like a couple years of not posting anything to talk about the biggest project that has completely transformed my career as an illustrator. I started to illustrate professionally in 2020. At that point, I didn't really know what I wanted to say with my art. I didn't really have a strong artistic vision or what subject matter I really wanted to focus on. So it was kind of a really big exploratory period for me. So when the pandemic hit, the shows that I was in got canceled and scheduled and shuffled around and everything. So I was left with this big block of time with nothing. As with everybody else, we were kind of in this weird limbo state, and so I didn't know what to do with myself with like a complete lack of structure like that. So I had seen a couple people online do these different challenges, like 100-day challenges. So I decided to do like 100 birds in 100 days, which prior to that, I had done a couple smaller challenges like 30-day sketchbook challenge and stuff like that. And so I knew that I really liked that format and I really liked that structure. So I surprisingly completed it for all 100 days. I painted a bird and I posted it online, and I learned so much in that period. More than anything, I learned that I need structure. Like, I'm somebody who really thrives in having a contained project where there's a start and then there's a finish. Yeah, fast forward, I finished the birds and I felt like I'd almost like pigeonholed myself, excuse the pun, kind of pigeonholed myself into this nature illustration. But it was lacking a certain fantasy element that I had in my work all growing up, basically. And so I really wanted to recapture that, but I wasn't quite sure how to do it yet. So I would go on these walks down a nice nature trail that was like right by my place for years. I walked this trail like almost every single day. Always came home feeling really inspired by that and wanting to do something with just a sheer variety of flowers, especially, I thought was really, really interesting. I knew I wanted to do some kind of flower creature, but I didn't know what that meant or what it looked like. And so that confusion and the overwhelm of just having so many flowers to choose from kept me from doing anything with it for like years. Like it was a long time brewing in my head, I guess. And so I was starting to feel really like creatively frustrated because of that. Eventually I had the idea to just do like flower dragons. Like, screw it. Flower dragons will surely be enough. And so I had done 6 different flowerlings, as I called them, just random assortment of flowers that I had chosen. But I noticed very quickly that the dragons that I was painting turned into just straight up animals. Like, I just kept coming back to animal forms. And so I got really confused. And I was like, oh, well, they're not dragons anymore. I don't really know what to do with this. And so once again, I kind of backed out and I got confused and a little bit overwhelmed. And so I pushed it on the back burner for another 6 months or something like that. And then, yeah, like 6 months later, I was asked to participate in a 10 by 10 Hit to Be Square show. And up until this point, I'd been doing mostly like cartoony children's illustration. And I wanted this to be an opportunity to explore something a little bit more realistic, really kind of an exciting departure from the cartoony stuff that I was doing. And it ended up being the Botanic Cats. So it was like a cat fused with a pansy flower, just their portraits. And I did 4 of them for this little gallery show. And none of them sold, but I was really happy with the pieces that I made. And I felt like, okay, I'm onto something here. But I knew I needed some structure to actually explore this idea a little bit more in depth. I was watching a video by Struthless, who is a fantastic creator. I totally recommend watching his videos. In one of his videos, he was talking about harnessing your creative stallion or something along those lines. I'll include the full video somewhere. And at the end, he shared a resource where you could kind of structure a little challenge for yourself. And so, yeah, I just kind of arbitrarily settled on an alphabet. I was like, well, there's so many different flowers. How on earth am I going to choose a random number? Like I got really stuck on the number. I wasn't sure how many I should do for this. And 100 was the first thing that came to mind, but I didn't want something that was quite that intense. So I settled on an alphabet. 26, that's reasonable, like less than half than 100, a quarter in fact. And so I decided to do 2 flower creatures every week for like 17 weeks, so about 4 months, which seems really intense. And it kind of was really intense, but I committed to it and I was just like, okay, I need to fully realize this idea because I'm gonna drive myself crazy. So before I started the challenge, I basically wanted to sketch out a bunch of concepts that I had to help me decide on which flowers I wanted to choose and then which animals I wanted to combine them with. So there was, I've got it here actually. So basically you can see all of my little brainstorming, just trying to fit the different animals and flowers together and see what kind of spoke to me. And these were basically the concepts that I used, more or less. Like it didn't feel like that much planning. I have another page. And you can see how rough these are, right? Like they're just scribbles of ideas. But it was enough for me to like, there was something in each one that kind of excited me, and so it was enough for me to be like, okay, this is a feasible challenge. I think it would be really fun and entertaining. So yeah, when I started A, I wasn't really sure how creaturely I wanted these to be. So A feels a little bit different than the rest. And I had posted it to Instagram and kind of announced that I was doing this project, and the reception was immediately pretty good. So I was like, okay, cool. I guess I'll do the second one. So I did B, and it was immediately clear to me that these were just going to be animal flowers. Like I couldn't fight it anymore. So it felt like it was my own vision. It was like my own creative interpretation of nature rather than just copying photographs, you know what I mean? Yeah, the first half went pretty dang smoothly, actually. I think I did the 2 a week, like every single week, and it was going great. And then I kind of hit the muddy middle, as I call it, and I think there was like a couple where the concepts that I had drawn didn't quite fit. So it delayed me, and I think there was a couple of weeks where I didn't do anything, and I really wanted to quit. I was feeling like,
oh, I don't even want to do animal flowers anyway, like this is stupid.
What's even the point? But fortunately, the response online, to be honest, was really motivating for me. People were really excited about it and really engaged. And so I felt this pressure to continue to show up and post. About 3/4 into the challenge, a publisher had reached out to me actually, and it was the same publisher, Monster House Publishing, who I had worked with previously. I did have some relationship with this publisher. And so when they reached out to me about creating an alphabet book, I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even consider that. Like, it was really exciting for me to have this turn into something beyond. It was just like an exploration for me, really. It was just trying to get this creative energy out into an actual contained project. So for it to turn into a book was like, yeah, okay, this is really cool. And so that gave me another burst of motivation. Yeah, the entire thing took me from June 29th to October 6th. So I basically did what I had set out to do, more or less. Like there was a little bit of a delay there in the middle, but otherwise I pretty much stuck to my guns, which I'm really proud of. So this was kind of a crazy period for me. So I had just left my fiance and moved back in with my grandparents. And so everything was pretty crazy. I didn't really know what was going on. I was feeling very overwhelmed emotionally. And after finishing this project and getting the book deal, I had decided like, I want to do prints of these guys, but I was really scared to order, 26 different prints. And I didn't know the quantity. Like I didn't really have any idea what to do with that. So I decided for the first time ever to open pre-orders. I remember doing that, like feeling really nervous and vulnerable because, sharing a shop update and getting crickets is a painful experience that I have experienced many a time. Yeah, I posted the pre-orders for this and I was like actually blown away by the response. It felt really exciting, especially with everything else going on in my life at the time. It was like, okay, this is the thing that I can grab onto for some stability in my life. And so, yeah, I remember sitting on the floor in my grandparents' house, like packing all these orders and feeling just completely overjoyed and excited about where this was going to take me. Around the same time, I was working on designing the book cover for the Floralings alphabet. And oh yeah, I don't think I ever mentioned that these flower animals, I called them Floralings. So since the release of the book, I attended many different markets and conventions, and I started to sell my work as like this collection of an alphabet. So I had this big display. I'll share some pictures. I think having a project and being able to explain it in a really concise way means a lot for people. It gives people some context, and they suddenly get invested in the whole project and connecting with the different letters and the different hybrids too. There's just so many connections that I really could have never anticipated, but it feels really meaningful to me to be able to see how just by fusing two things together, it gives people a fresh perspective on something that is maybe mundane, or they would have just kind of looked at like, oh yeah, that's a cool flower, I guess, and not connected to it quite the same. So yeah, I knew that I was onto something with that. It felt good. It felt fulfilling. So a couple years later, I worked with Monster House again, and this time we wanted to do another book related to the Floralings, but I wasn't too sure at first what I wanted to do with it. We settled on a field guide, Floralings field guide, and I'm a sucker for alliteration. So field guide, I was like, oh yeah, that sounds really cool. That sounds really fun. And so I kind of dived into that. But writing's been something that I really enjoyed when I was younger, so it felt really cool to kind of reconnect with that and explore that again for the first time. This story started to develop of like this fantastical island. Florana kept coming to mind, which is a combination of flora and fauna. And since then, the book has been finished and released last year, and I'm pretty obsessed with the flower animals, I'm not gonna lie. I haven't been able to stop thinking about them and like building this world and exploring this place in my mind. And I feel like I've really figured out what it is that I want to say artistically. And so I really do need to thank the Floralings alphabet and Struthless for, creating a little bit of a template for me, which is just the structure that I needed to bring this idea into reality and out of the tangles of my mind, I guess. Yeah, I'm feeling really excited to continue to explore this idea, and I want to use this YouTube channel as a way to explore that a little bit more in depth and share a little bit of the behind the scenes with the illustrations and stuff. Yeah, so basically my biggest takeaway is if you are a little bit confused creatively, you don't know what style or what direction you want to take your work, then I definitely recommend posing it as a little experiment. Even just 30 days in your sketchbook, like what I started out with. Even doing a small challenge like that gave me a certain momentum and a certain clarity that you can't get without putting the footwork in. So if you liked this project, if you thought it was kind of cool, I do still have the prints and the books available on my website, which I will throw on the screen here. If you're interested in supporting me or this channel, that would be super cool. And yeah, so I'm gonna continue to post here. So if that's something that's interesting to you, then give it a like and a subscribe. And also, yeah, let me know which one is your favorite too in the comments. Yeah, cool. Thanks.